All right, let's see. What else we got? Oh, yes. So we're going to go ahead and start talking. Today's interview is with Nick Furlong on his exhibition, Unnatural Nature. So, Nick creates unique ceramic sculpture work and pottery, and he's a painter. So, he's a mixed media artist. He's amazingly interesting person. I enjoyed my conversation with him very much. His sculpture work is bizarre, surreal, and fun to look at. And maybe, like he says in the interview, like he wants you to have a little chuckle, enjoy them. And if you hate it or you look at it and it makes you uneasy, he's like, he's okay with that too. So if you want to just go out of your comfort zone for some of them, or just see really interesting, bizarre creatures and art that he created, that exhibition will be holding an artist reception on August 8th, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Bossier Arts Council. Now, alongside this exhibition, there will also be another exhibition in the Virginia Cook Gallery that's in the same building. So you can meet both artists and check out both exhibitions at the same time by artist Chang Liu. It's Curiouser and Curiouser. She is a resin artist that creates glow resin sculptures and assemblage work that is just beautiful. From what I understand, they are going to have the lights off in that room, and it's all going to be black light lit, so everything will glow. And then, so it's going to be a real cool experience. Chang is a very active member of our community, and she does a lot of great things. So, go lend your support, especially if you haven't seen her work and you're just interested, and invite your friends. Go support her and Nick at the same event. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and move us over to my interview with Nick Furlong. It's a great interview. Remember, at some point during the interview, I will pause it and we will have a short commercial break, and then we'll get right back into it. So just bear with me. All right. Enjoy, guys. Hello, I'm Brittany Hazelton, and this is Architects Artistry, where we explore the arts in our area. Today's guest is a unique visual artist that does both sculptural work, illustrations, pottery, and has even published multiple books. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nick, Nick Furlong. I work with Nick's Art Studio. It's my own business that I own. And yeah, I do a whole lot of different types of art, little bit of everything, including some published books. I have a children's book I've wrote. I have a children's book I wrote and illustrated, along with a couple coloring books and a sketch prompt generator sketchbook.
That's really awesome. I admire multiple artistries. Multimedia. I believe is what it's usually referred
Yeah,
to when
yeah.
you're crossing like the lines of visual to like literary. And you did coloring books. I understand, and the children's book. That's really cool. We'll have to dive a bit into that during our conversation. But before we start, I wanted to ask you about the upcoming exhibition you have at Bossier Arts Council. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so on August 8th is the opening reception at 6 p.m. It's at the Bossier Art Council. It'll feature a wide variety of my art, mostly my sculptural work. It will have a few of my paintings.
Nice.
My paintings will be watercolor and acrylic, along with a couple pieces of digital art.
Okay.
But the largest portion of it will be my sculptural work. I typically work in ceramic, and
Wow.
my work is hard to describe.
Oh.
I like to describe it as being a little bit weird, but my favorite term is actually something one of my students used to call it, which was cursed. So I like to combine different things.
Got
and
that
it's
cursed object vibe.
Yes, yeah. So I like to combine different things and make these hybrids. I have some that are combinations of humans and animals, along with some that are combinations of animals and food. And then
Okay.
some that are just like
Cool.
some weird things I made up.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I saw some pictures of it. I love the oddity of it.
Yes,
You
yeah.
know, there's something beautiful about odd sculptural work. It's the surrealism aspect
Yes.
that I really love.
Surrealism is one of my big influences. I love surrealism and pop art, and then I grew up a lot in comic books and sci-fi,
Ah,
so a lot of that bleeds into my work as well.
that's great. Yeah, I would say that I also dabble a little bit in surrealism, but more like that dream type,
Yeah.
like where am I? This is another world type surrealism when I do my work. So I admire that a lot. I know that my friend who helped set up your exhibition, he loved the this cube head. He's like, this is absolutely going to be like the signature.
Yes.
I was like, that's
Yes, I
great.
love that one. It turned out so well. With that one, I just wanted to make this weird cube-shaped human head, and that's literally what it is. It's just a big cube with a somewhat realistic-looking human face on it, and it uses a shallow, like bas-relief style sculpture on it.
That's really cool. That's really cool. So what kind of themes do you have a specific theme that you have for the show coming up?
So I haven't ever been big on just having one big, huge, uniting theme, other than combining different things together. A lot of my work does incorporate animals and food, which I feel like is a large part of our life. Whether it's, eating the animals or like them as pets. And
Yeah.
then, so I just bring those together. It's not like um, a huge overarching theme, but it is kind of a loose theme where it's just combining different things.
Yeah.
The name of the show is Unnatural Nature, and that's what a lot of it is. It's things that are natural or just in our lives,
Yeah.
but a weird, unnatural look at them.
Okay. So what do you hope that people take away from the experience of seeing your show?
So I think a big part of art is that it invokes something. So I just hope I invoke some sort of emotion, whether it's something almost negative where they think it's weird and they don't like looking at it, or it kind of tickles their fancy and they really like it.
Oh yeah, it's either you're gonna love it or it's gonna take you out of your comfort zone.
Yes,
But I
yeah.
think part of the big experience is coming out of your comfort zone, taking in the experience. It kind of changes you a little bit.
Yeah, so as
Whether-
long as it's getting some kind of reaction out of them, like, that's a big goal. Ideally, they'll like it, but I mean, if it's more of a, that makes me uncomfortable, I'm still okay with that.
That's awesome. So what drove you to do art in general?
I've always had this natural want or almost need to do art. I've always liked trying to capture the world around me. When I was younger, especially after I saw Jurassic Park, I kind of stopped doing a lot of my homework and worksheets at school and would just draw dinosaurs, mostly velociraptors, and literally just turn that in. I've always just loved doing art, and like I mentioned earlier when we were talking, I love comic books. Grew up reading comic books, so some of the first things I did was redrawing those characters. My favorite was always Wolverine, so I used to just love drawing
Nice.
Wolverine over and over again.
I was kind of like that when I was a kid. I had specific comic books. I was, goth girl, middle school and high school, and I would just draw Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Oh,
in
yeah,
charcoal. I drew every panel in those in the like director's cut.
Yep.
I swear I drew every panel in my books just to try to replicate them perfectly.
Yep.
Just because I loved the series so much, I read those books.
Oh
so
yeah, I
many
liked
times.
it was Johann Vasquez. Haven't thought about him in forever. Yeah, good
yeah.
stuff.
Jonan Vasquez is an amazing artist. He did Invader Zim.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely icon for me. But I also did the same thing when I was a kid. I used to draw except for me, I used to imagine entire fantasy worlds. So I would draw these.
Oh, who doesn't do
creatures.
that?
I
Yeah.
feel like I drew all these elemental dogs who I imagine it was like a Pokemon influence, but it's like these dogs would have companions that were humans, and I fantasized this whole thing up and drew all. That's why I started really drawing a lot was because I really wanted to like capture what I had in my mind. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I think a lot of us artists do that though. You know, we get like obsessed with something, or we imagine something heavily, and we just like gotta put it out there, right?
Hmm.
I think one artist told me, it's like, hey, it's our duty as artists to record humans and how we are in our nature, and it's our duty to put that out there.
Yeah.
If we got the mind and we're creating things with our mind, we need to put it out there. It's our responsibility. It's
Yeah.
the way he views it, and I respect that. I love what you're doing. I think your stuff looks cool from what I've seen.
Thank you.
I'll definitely have to come to the show and see it.
August 8th, 6 p.m.
Yeah. So, how did you get started professionally as an artist?
That was kind of the career track I started with in high school and just stuck with it. Elementary and middle school, art was always my favorite class. When I got to high school, I really focused on that.
Nice.
Luckily, my high school had a wide variety of art classes,
That's good.
and I focused heavily on painting and illustration. Never took a ceramic class in high school.
Oh, wow.
And then, so in college, I went to art because it's the only thing that I really knew how to do.
Yeah.
I had lots of other interests, and like, I'm sure I would have been great. Like, if I wasn't an artist, I always think my second choice would be like a biologist or zoologist because I love animals. But so yeah, I focused on art in college, and that was my
Nice.
main career path. My college required a ceramic class, so I took it my first semester
Okay.
to get it out of the way and loved it. Ended up taking it every year and
There
kind
you
of
go.
focused on not only illustration and painting, but also ceramics.
That's great. I love that. Yeah, no, art was always like my first thing. I don't even know how I became a journalist. That just kind of happened. That was just like, whoop, here you go, you're a journalist. But no, art has always been my primary things myself. So I understand. Unfortunately, like some people just don't get the education that they would need to do art. I mean, especially here in the South, I
Yeah.
think that a lot of funding for those things have been cut or
Oh, for sure.
all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
you know. So it's important that we have education outside of that, or mentorship, or at least get the knowledge out there. So what kind of advice would you give to someone wanting to become an artist?
So the great thing about becoming an artist, all you have to do is create art. It doesn't matter how good you are, create art and you are an artist, and that's where it starts.
Okay, guys. We're going to go ahead and take you to the commercial break, and then we'll get right back to it. After the end of the interview, I'm going to show you a little bit of his sculptural work that he has on his website. So stick with me a little bit after so we can talk about that. All right. So here's the commercial. Bear with me, and we'll be right back.
As for improving your skill and trying to become professional, there are lots of resources outside of typical education. YouTube is a great resource.
Exactly.
Find an artist you
Yeah.
like on YouTube. Most artists have tutorial videos that you can access for free. Beyond that, there are paid services you can check out to have additional art education, but YouTube is a great place to start. Or your local library. They
Yeah.
have lots of books that have tutorials
Oh,
in
yeah.
art.
I learned a lot out of how to draw this.
Yep,
How
yep.
to, well, my main book was how to draw fantasy illustrations.
Yep, I
And
used to have
oh,
so many of those. Yeah, I still
right.
have some of them.
But like you just go to Barnes and Noble or Books A Million just
Yep.
to grab a new book, just so you have more things to learn.
Yeah, a lot of times I'd go to Barnes and Noble that was at the mall by me growing up, and I
Oh,
wouldn't buy the book, but I would sit there in the kids area looking through it and trying to like memorize how to do these different art things, and then just go home and draw.
that's exactly what I did.
But yeah, libraries have a lot of those books. You can just check them out.
Yeah.
Great resource right there.
We also have, for those of you who may have seen my show, we also have Knoll Community Arts Program, which does actually give art lessons, music lessons, and pottery. They
Yeah, I actually
do-
used to work with them doing pottery.
Yeah. So that,
I
you know,
taught a couple classes with them a while back.
if you can't afford it, they'll work with you, but the prices aren't too bad if you want to get you want to learn how to do it. There's also the Renzi. I believe a lot of young students learn art from the Renzi. So there are resources. You just have to really look for them,
If you're looking specifically for pottery, like wheel throwing, I actually work at a studio right now where I teach wheel throwing. It's a Clayground.
Oh yeah, I've heard of Playground. That's cool. All right, well there's another pottery is definitely one I've always been kind of interested in. I used to have one of those little cheap little wheels as a kid, and I loved playing with it. But like now it's like I really want to do that again. But so another thing I wanted to ask you is, can you tell me about your process let's start with your sculpture work. From start to finish, how do you come up with a new work of art, and how do you create it?
So the idea can come from a lot of different places. Sometimes it's me thinking like, oh, this combination of two things would be funny, whether because it's the visual or sometimes I just think the name of the two things together works well.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's almost like a bit of a hidden pun that I have as the underlining idea. And then once I have the idea, I start sketching out a few different designs, trying to figure out
Nice.
like what position or pose I want it
Yeah,
in to try to
yeah.
capture the right emotion that I'm trying to get with it. After that, I start building usually an armature, especially if it's a larger piece. An armature is an underlying
Wire,
yeah,
or
yeah.
something of that nature.
Yeah, so with the larger busts, I do full size busts sometimes. With those ones, the armature is literally a plank of wood with a dowel coming up, and then I wrap it in newspaper.
It's
and then
basically like the skeleton.
Yes, it's like a skeleton.
Yeah.
And then I cover the newspaper and armature with slabs of clay, which are like rolled out big flat pieces of clay.
Huh.
So I cover that, make this big like amorphous blob of clay, and then I slowly start pushing in, carving out, and adding on different pieces of clay
Huh.
to start getting the form and the detail.
Okay.
And then with some of my smaller sculptures, I don't even have a real armature. It's basically just a ball of newspaper with clay wrapped around it. Once the pieces are dry, I can remove the newspaper and it self-supports.
That's really cool. So, what kind of clay do you use? Is it air dry or is it actually?
Oh, it's stoneware.
Stoneware,
So stoneware
okay.
is fired to cone 6, which is about 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit,
Nice.
hotter than lava.
Yeah, that's
So
definitely hot.
I completely fire it to maturity, which means I fire it all the way up to that temperature.
Wow.
And then after that, I will either glaze them or I usually paint them with acrylic paint. Since I do also have a background in painting, I like to incorporate that. When I paint them with acrylic paint, I use a process called dry brushing. So I'll usually do like a black underbase and then build up in layers
Yeah.
the colors on top of it. And as the name implies, it's literally using a dry brush and like scrubbing these colors on.
Yeah.
And that gives you a lot more like color coming through from the under layers.
Yeah.
And it helps bring in this natural shading process. because as the dry brush hits just the higher parts, it leaves the darker tone underneath coming through in these little divots and imperfections.
Yeah, I actually utilize that a little bit in my I model, and then I have a
Okay,
3D,
like D&D minis?
I have a yes, I
Yeah.
3D print. I make them, and then I 3D print them, and then I paint them.
Yeah, so dry brushing is
yeah.
very popular with miniature paintings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's,
same idea, but on a much larger scale.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, that's really cool.
I paint a little bit of D&D minis sometimes too.
Nice, nice. I would have to. I need to see some of those, so because I like sharing mine too.
I got just a couple on my Instagram. I have some that I did more recently that I haven't uploaded pictures of yet. I need to do that.
Yeah, I need to. I'm making mine because of custom world. I'm doing a core role book.
Okay.
Specifically for a universe that I've been writing for, I don't know.
Like your whole like own TTRPG?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I'm like, okay, I don't have these races that you can just get models for, so I'm just going to make them.
Uh-huh.
And then just print them myself.
Do you 3D model them yourself?
Well, I'm not that great at, but there is Hero Forge has kit bashing.
Oh, okay.
And so I have the membership to utilize their kit bashing so I can edit things in and make what I need.
Yeah.
Without having all the CCAD or any of that experience. But
Yeah.
maybe one day
I want to try it. I haven't done 3D modeling yet on the computer, but I'd like to try it.
I liked playing a little bit with sculpture, with the sculpture programs and stuff where you can sculpt them. The first thing I made, I accidentally made the Adoring Fan from Oblivion, and I didn't even mean to, but like I looked at his face and I was just like, "That's the Adoring Fan." I'm like, compares this like perfectly. Yeah, I'm like, "Oops." It's not what I intended. I just wanted to make a weird guy, a little weird guy.
I mean, it sounds like you made a weird guy if it's the Adoring Fan.
He is a little weird guy, yeah. All right, so can you tell me more about the books that you've published?
Yeah, so I have several books that I've published. They're all self-published. My first one I did was a children's book I wrote and illustrated.
Nice.
I originally came up with the idea for it when I was in college. It was at it's largely based on the job I had in college. I worked at an animal education center, so we took care of all these different animals, and then local kids would come in and we do classes with like elementary age kids mostly.
Yeah.
So the book features around a kid learning about the responsibilities of pet ownership as he talks to animals at a local pet rescue.
That's great, and I feel like that's a good, you could utilize that in that space, teaching the kids.
Yeah.
Like, hey, read this. Let's read the book. That's great. And you do coloring books as well?
Yeah, so I have a few different coloring books. The first coloring book I did was an animal coloring book that features a lot of art from my children's book,
nice.
plus a whole bunch of extra art and a build a bird activity. So it talks about the different features birds have based on where they live and what they use them for.
That's cool.
And then you can cut out these different features and put them together to make your own bird or redraw them. So I have like 5 or 6 different options for feet, beaks, wings, bodies, tails, and you just mix and match and pick your own bird parts.
That's really cool.
And then my most recent coloring book is kind of like, since you're familiar with D&D, it's kind of like a color your own monster manual.
Hey.
It's a monster information guide. So on the back of each coloring page is information and statistics about that monster or creature.
Oh, is it specifically related to D&D?
No. So it's a lot of them are fantasy creatures. Okay. There's like a couple dragons in there. Some of them are actually just extinct animals that I maybe changed up a little bit. And then some of them are ones that I just completely made up.
That's cool. I love that. I love world builders like you. We world builders, we come up with the coolest thing.
That one is called the Monster Decks.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, it's really good to see, to see that kind of imagination being used. There's a difference with, artists can be, someone told me once, they were just like, I'm not, I don't have an imagination, so I can't be an artist. I was like, well, that's not true. There's a lot of artists out there that just paint a scene. Yeah. That just paint still lifes. And that doesn't take too much imagination. It just takes skill. Yeah. So you can absolutely be an artist.
Just full observational art.
Yeah, it's full observational. But then, there's the artists that are creating completely unique things just from their imagination. That's always my favorite type. So, Another thing I wanted to ask you, you're not from Shreveport, but you've lived here for how many years now?
I've lived here for about 3, going on 4 years soon. Before this, I lived in Houston, Texas. I lived there for about 4 years. I was a high school art teacher, and then before that, I was Michigan for my whole life.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, welcome to. I know I'm a little late
A little
on that.
late, it's alright.
Little late.
Thank you.
Welcome to Shreveport. I'm glad to have you.
I'm glad to
Uh,
be here. I like it a lot here, better than Houston. No offense, Houston.
Hey,
I wasn't a
we're
big fan
just.
of the big city.
It's okay. We're just really that cool here. So, they'll be okay. The Houston, you're cool too. Don't worry. All right. Well, is there anything else that you would like to say to our viewers before we go?
Don't forget to come and check out my show, Unnatural Nature, at the Bossier Arts Council. Opening reception is August 8th at 6 p.m.
Also, one last thing. How can people follow you or buy your books?
Oh, so you can follow me on Instagram. I have one for my 2-dimensional art and one for my 3D art. It's NixArt, NIXART underscore ceramics, and then the illustration is NixArt underscore illustration.
Nice.
You can also check out my website. I have nixartstudio.com, NIXARTSTUDIO.com. And you can find me on Facebook, Nix Art page on Facebook.
Yep, and I believe on your website you can purchase the coloring books and your
Yes.
children's book on that from Amazon. I
Yes, you can
believe, so-
purchase them on my website. The website is a link to Amazon. They are available on Amazon.
All right.
I also typically have my books with me when I do vendor events around town. If there's a vendor event around town, I'm usually there.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for stopping in and talking to me. I look forward to your exhibition.
Thanks. I look forward to seeing you there, and everyone's invited.
Yes,
August
and it
8th.
is free, guys.
Free to attend. Did we say where it's at? It's at the Bossier Arts
Arts
Council.
Council, yep, and that's in the East Bank district over in Bossier. So if you've probably heard me talk about it a lot. So definitely support your local artists. We want to keep them going, right?
Yes, please come and support me.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Yep. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping in and listening to my interview with Nick Furlong. His exhibition is happening. I believe I said that it is the 8th of August, 6 p.m. Or 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. is the artist reception. Go meet the artist, mingle with all the art lovers, check out, also get some food because they usually have a little bit of food, and these are free to attend. So, especially if you're an artist trying to get out there and network, this is a great event to do it. And guys, you never know what you might go there and find something that you can afford. If you can't afford it, the artists usually have a lot of things that they make that are affordable. So you could talk to them and get networked with them about getting something. Or if you want to get something commissioned, you could work with the artist and get something specifically made for you. But yeah, so his website is right here. This is, Nick's Art Studio. Nick spelled with Nix. You can see his sculptural work here, his pottery, and his paintings. He has some really interesting stuff, guys. Like he said, oh, I love it. There's a banana dolphin there. Oh, that's a interesting, like, chicken humanoid figure. The pottery he makes is really pretty. Oh, I love that. I like the very thick black top there. But yeah, no, guys, he's a very mixed media artist, and he does some really cute things, especially animals and creatures, as you can tell. He's a lover of the animals and creatures. Aw. All right, guys. If you do happen to make it to that event, I will see you there. Remember, guys, support your local artists. Like, share, follow their stuff. Bring your friends to their events. Share it with your family members. Help them get into art Let's support our local artists because they bring a lot of art, and the artists always are hosting events. They are like the lifeblood of a lot of events, vending, markets and things, and those things are important for the cultural identity of an area. So let's keep supporting them. You can also find me on Facebook if you'd like to follow me, view my art there, or check out other things that I post and related to our community. Like here's a video here for the art battle of the bands that's coming up, which that's fun. This is the Hag versus Rachard and Ouroboros. So that's Rashard, and that's the lead singer of Hag there. And that's right outside of BAC when they set that up. But I always am sharing recent events. Another big news thing that did happen is one of the people that I've interviewed and covered a bit on Architects Artistry, Poetic X, actually was awarded by the Academy of American Poets a fellowship from them, and he's been awarded $50,000 to continue his programs for poetry and poetry centralized events and things within our community. And he has done a lot so far, including murals, with collaborative murals with several artists, including me. So, if you don't know who Poetic X is, give Poetic X a follow and check out his stuff. He has published not only his own collections of poetry, but he's also published albums that are music with him and his poetry, which are really good stuff. He speaks a lot about local things and local places and local, things that are actively happening here. He speaks on those things. And they can really be impactful to us. Also, another cool thing, John Hoffman got a proclamation. I'm saying the word wrong. By Mayor Tom Arsenault here in Shreveport. And if you didn't know who John Hoffman is the new drummer for Primus. He's been in several bands here in Shreveport and has lived his life here. And Primus has recruited him with Les Claypool as the front man, recruited him, and they recently had a concert here, and it was really great to see the pictures and the event, and we as a city were very proud of him. So I just want to put that out there. Also, there's been updates. Jacob B. Memorial Nature Park is been rebuilding their entire park, so it really looks beautiful, guys. It's gonna be an amazing new space, something we can be proud of to have here. And nature in itself is an art. So I'm very happy for that. But no, yeah, follow me on Facebook if you want extra content. But then also check me out on KSLA.com. If you go to podcasts and go to Architects Artistry from there, you'll find my videos and my articles that I write alongside of them. And then additionally, you can find me on Roku, Apple, and YouTube, all the different streaming platforms that we are on as KSLA. .com or Architects today. All right, guys, you take care. I'll see you Wednesday at 11 for a recap, and then always 12 on Saturdays at noon, where you be able to catch my Architects Artistries. You guys take care. Have a good day, and hope you get out and enjoy some of the events that are going on.